everybody? Welcome back to the Going the Distance pod. We have betting review for UFC 323, Dvalishvili versus Jan. It's pretty solid card. CJ, what do you think about the card?
Yeah, I mean, good card. Great way to end kind of the ESPN deal, like the last pay-per-view, the ESPN deal. Really looking forward to. I mean, the two title fights are probably number one versus number two in both of them. So pretty elite competition, top to bottom. And I've been really looking for this card for a long time.
I agree. I definitely think they wrapped the year out strong here. A lot of exciting matchups from the first fight to the last. Are there any particular fights that you're like specifically interested in? Because I know I have at least one.
Yeah, no, I definitely have a couple. I mean, other than the obvious two title fights, I think there's some sleepers that I am excited to go over. Any other thoughts before we start?
One that stands out to me that I'm gonna highlight ahead just because I am oddly excited. I'm very excited to see Sadikov versus Ziam. I think that two guys up and coming should be violent. I have a lot of good things to say about both, so that I will highlight ahead is my fight I'm excited for rather. Um,
Yeah, that's definitely a car crash fight. Definitely looking forward to that one too. We will start reverse topology order. We'll start with the first fight. Myron Santos versus Muhammad Naimov. This fight's at 145. Santos was up at 55 just to fight Sadiq because I believe it was on relatively short notice. And yeah, I mean, not super high on Naimov by any stretch of the imagination. I think he's super serviceable, good grappler, or solid grappler, solid takedowns. Pretty underrated power though. Definitely when he hits people, they definitely respond. But I think he's kind of a generalist, not super elite anywhere. Had some insanely shaky moments against Nathaniel Wood, and a fight that he just blatantly cheated multiple times. And as you know, the refs are getting a little bit of dinero these days, so they're able to just foul people for no reason. But I really think he should have lost that Wood fight. Um, but other than that, I mean, finishing Eric Silva with a leg kick, he blew his knee out on like the first exchange. Doesn't really tell me much. Felipe Lima, he gassed pretty hard, and that was Lima on very short notice, and he was a lot bigger than Lima. So I guess that's cause to concern. He definitely can get grappled himself, even though he's a relatively strong grappler. And yeah, just not super impressed. I feel like he's not great at one skill set. I don't really see like what would you call him a wrestler? I wouldn't call him a wrestler, but I also wouldn't call him a striker by any stretch of the imagination. So I just think, like I said before, generalist and everything. But Myron Santos, on the other hand, I was insanely high on him coming off of Ultimate Fighter, and he's just learning on the job. Like he's still in his early 20s. I expect big things from him. I mean, that Khan Offley KO was disgusting. And I know Offley's not like a world beater by any stretch, but that was a crazy pull counter. Just slept him. He did not look great against Francis Marshall, who I'm personally pretty high on. I don't know about you. I think Francis Marshall's a solid enough fighter who fights good guys, and I don't know how Santos won that fight. He did give up takedowns, which I guess could be a concern here, and he just kind of went through the motions. He looked super out of it, but then rebounded with the Sadiq Yusuf win, which actually I kind of rate Sadiq. Sadiq's a good striker. He held his own, was able to mix in clinch work really well. And yeah, I just think Santos does a little bit more. And yeah, just favor him to win the striking exchanges and keep it standing. What about you?
Ready for this? Give me
Yes.
Naimov.
Okay.
I do see what you say about the generalist. I don't think that that's a term that should be used negatively. Being that I don't think he's like bad in any area. I just think he's good in all areas. I think he has good
Mhm.
takedowns. I also think he has good takedown defense. I've seen some of his fights. I also think he's very serviceable standing up. He also has never been knocked out, so I know he is defensively sound in the stand up. Great standing striking defense. He's durable as well. I do agree that the Nathaniel Wood win was shaky. So I mean I can't fault you there, and the Lima fight as well. I thought it was a really close fight through two. Then Lima, got some crazy pep talk about his mom before the third round, comes in and gets a crazy sub. So I do think it was a pretty good look up to the first two rounds. He was getting tired, but nothing for me to turn a shoulder at. The main kicker here for me is Santos. First off, very good, 16-1, big KO decision guy. Not many subs on the record, possibly none. If there are very few, I'm actually quite curious to take a quick look here. Yes, no submissions here. So from by my books here, Santos tries to stay standing up in pretty much every fight he's in. That's where his strengths lie. And I do think that there's the loss on Myron Santos's record, I believe, is to Dan Argueta in LFA. and that is a wrestle heavy Dan Argueta, who did a KO from ground and pound, and that's sort of what I could see happening here. I could see a lot of wrestling control from Naimov, and I do think in the stand-up, he may not be on par with Santos, but I do think he's good enough to make it close. Were this fight lined at complete pick'ems, I believe Santos would probably be the pick. Gun to my head, who would I pick? Probably Santos, but with a plus 230 shoved in my face with multiple ways I think Naimov could do this, I could just see an early card upset, and I'm looking to be on the right side of it.
No, definitely. You brought up really good points with like I think if Naimov does get on top early, it could be a little problematic because Santos just like not that he's a horrible grappler by any stretch, but you definitely don't want Naimov on top of you early punching down. Could be problematic. But I mean, I think the line's 100% off. Like he's too big of a favorite. I do think they both have finishes. Santos has finishes on the record, but I do think overs is safe. I mean, both are pretty durable. I think also Naimov could be up two and then take the beating in three and not get finished. So I think even though it's chalky, I think overs are pretty good look. Do you have anything else to add?
So over unders, relatively no interest for me for this fight. I would say, like I said, Naimov money line. There's some meat on the bone there. You can't complain.
Mm,
I'm also not. I probably won't do this myself, but a little Naimov KO sprinkle I'm not against, just because I've
yeah.
seen Myron Santos lose that way in the past.
Yep.
Naimov is known to have some knockouts. Will I play that? Probably not, but plus 650, I wouldn't blame anyone for. I'll probably be sticking on only Naimov money line, a little bit above plus 200 to see how he takes this one.
Got you. Pass for me, but yeah, I mean, Naimov KO definitely is not a crazy thing by any stretch, especially early. He could overwhelm him early. Who's my Santos slow starter. I mean, he was in the Offley fight. But yeah, I think you like the Naimov side. I kind of in agreement in the sense of like gun to my head, I take Naimov, but I'm staying away.
Awesome. So next fight we got Mansour Abdulmalik versus Antonio Tricoli. Mansour Abdulmalik is a heavily touted prospect. He's coming in, I believe, at more than minus 1,000 here. He's got quad negative odds here. So heavily favored to win. What I will say about Mansour Abdulmalik is he is an undefeated finisher. So there's not much to dislike there. He has really good wrestling. I've also seen good takedown defense as well. Really good sprawl. I will say for being such a finisher, I don't find that he pushes at pace early. And I have found myself falling into the pit previously of betting those Mansour Abdulmalik unders and then being sorely frustrated when he doesn't take out Cody Brundage in a round and a half. I do believe I was on the over for the Nick Klein fight somehow. But generally, I have it in my notes in the back of my brain to never take a Mansour Abdulmalik under, unless the odds aren't horrible, which in this case, no interest. I will say that him getting caught by Klein in that fight in the first round is definitely not a good look. I do think that relatively untested, being given who he's fought. But do I think Antonio Tricoli is the one to uncover those weaknesses? No, I do not. About the best thing Tricoli's done in his career is date Mackenzie Dern. Other than that, there's not that much exciting stuff to say about him. Last two fights, he's been finished both. 0-2 in the UFC. Lost to Shara and I want to say Trayshawn Gore via a disgusting standing guillotine. So I think that while he is tall, and that could be good for him in some fights, I think that given that height, he's not physically imposing at all. I think he stands very vertically up with that chin real up high. He does have a supposed sub game, but I haven't seen him be able to get some good takedowns to the ground. Just been able to see him stay up in the clinch. He has some okay straight punches, some okay boxing, but nothing to compete with Mansour here. No interest in a Mansour prop, no interest in a Mansour money line. I am probably off this fight entirely just due to the odds, but Mansour Abdulmalik for me is the obvious pick.
Yeah, no, I mean, definitely dating Mackenzie Dern's a huge feather in your cap, you know what I mean? But he's also a pro poker player, supposedly. I haven't really looked into that, but supposedly he's a nice poker player. But honestly, this is kind of a public execution setup fight. I don't really see how. I don't think Malik's like the craziest prospect we've ever seen, but I mean, he realistically should kind of roll here. I mean, Tricali, like you said, is not super dangerous. Like, doesn't have crazy power. Doesn't have the wrestling to take Malik down, who's a physical specimen. Comes from that a Division I wrestling background. I think he did it. One of the Carolinas, he only did a couple semesters there, but I mean, he's very physically strong, very athletic, very tough to take down, and I just think he keeps it. I mean, it's not a hot take. He's like minus 1,000, but he keeps it standing. Probably catches him at one time, but yeah, I also he just loves hitting over 1.5s, man. Like I know UFC is going through a huge betting scandal, so he'll probably rig one more. But in what world does this hit 7.5 minutes? I really have a hard time seeing Tricali taking any heat, especially early from Malik. But again, like you said, you probably don't love an under at like minus 300 because he doesn't push any sort of pace. But yeah, the hardware edge, the durability edge, the athleticism edge should be massive here. Um, and yeah, just the only thing I really agree with you that's a huge red flag down the road is that Nick Klein, like spinning back fist, man, he was hurt. He looked terrible, and Klein's like a one round guy, and then he completely falls off a cliff. So yeah, I think Malik should probably be fine here, and if he wasn't rigging over 1.5, he should KO him pretty early. But yeah, passing me way too crazy in the line.
So you won't be swinging on that 1.5.
And you know me, I'm an under guy, but nah, man, nah. If he showed any sort of pace, like where he like I'm gonna finish you, like then you would take like an under point 0.5. I think like an early exchange, and this dude's going down. He just doesn't do enough. Yeah. Anything else you want to add? No.
Next one.
Next fight, Ibo Aslan, your boy Ibo, my boy Ibo Aslan versus name pronunciation. You got me.
Ivo Baranushki will call him.
Aranushi. Yes, yes. So I bet unfortunately we'll start on the Ibo side, the Ibo Aslan side. I bet him in his last fight, pretty heavy. I'm not a Billy Allen kind of guy. And I just thought someone who's gonna stand and strike with Ibo in the past, I thought like he is big dude, big good power, like solid cardio for a big man if it's pure striking. And I mean he hit Shirkali, my boy Anton Shirkali, to like the next stratosphere in the third round, killed him. I mean everyone KOs Sakaria, so I don't put too much stock into that. But I mean he just since the Ion Kudalaba fight, he just looks like a little gun shy, which is insanely concerning, especially in a spot here against Iwo, who seems to be just like a banger. Like, I mean, I don't think he has an extensive amateur career where he's been deeper in fights, but as a pro, I think it's all first round finishes. And the way he did, not the great, but not the real Muhammad Ali, but the way he did Muhammad Ali, who I thought was pretty good, like jiu-jitsu champ. I mean, he just smoked him like the first exchange. So obviously he's got some power, and something about these Polish dudes can all have serviceable grappling at least. So I think like he definitely could get takedowns on Ibo in theory, who's shown okay takedown defense, but unbelievably bad jiu-jitsu and no ability to get up. So I think I don't have anything here yet, but I think unders is probably okay. And like Iwo sub, if it's like I gotta see what that is, but if that's like a gigantic number, I think if Iwo goes to the grappling or like a club and sub potentially is super live. But yeah, after Ibo Aslan's last fight, and he was fighting in the desert, man, like you just had to do a little bit. They give you the decision, and he couldn't even do that. So yeah, I'm off the train. But I think violence. How about you?
I love that you said Evo sub because I have that circled. So
Yes.
my breakdown of this fight, I agree. This is two big men who are going to be swinging really hard, and I think someone's going out. The play that I think I'm going to be putting in off the bat is probably the under 1.5 in a lay somewhere. I believe I saw that around minus 200. I may be mistaken. I've seen a lot of unders, so I could be wrong. So I might need you to correct me on that if I am. What I think here, Ibo Aslan, every win by knockout.
Mm-hmm.
I think that he has more experience here. What I will say is I do think that the two weaknesses of his game, as you mentioned, absolutely his takedown defense and his jiu-jitsu once he's down there. Should show weaknesses every time he's down there. He does have fairly low hands, but I will say durable. I don't think he's ever been knocked out himself. Maybe it's that giant bushy beard he has. It'll slow down the impact of the punch, but he's never been knocked out. And in this climate of light heavyweight, I think that's a huge prop to have for yourself. I always take some stock into someone. If someone's never been finished a certain way, I always tend to look at that somewhat heavily. So I definitely think that's a good mark for him. What I will say is, as you mentioned, the Circaria win, and also honestly the Turkaj win, I really don't put much stock into. Circaria is a walking punching bag, and the other one's not much better. What I'll say about Baranushki is 6-0. He's a straight finisher. 4 KOs, 2 submissions. I will say relatively untested, and I will say very little tape. He had extensive amateur career, but as a professional, relatively untested. I will say that there is little to no tape on him. I saw about a 20-second clip with about 1 punch. And for me, that's just not enough to lay minus 200 against someone who I know has more experience and who has been under the lights like this before. Would I put a ton of stock into Ebo? No. But I think that if you were to play Baranushki, with his money line being minus 200 and his sub just barely breaking even at plus, if you're going to play him, I would once again sprinkle a little bit on that sub. I feel like I saw it somewhere between plus 500 and plus 650, somewhere in that range. So I would say that if one was to take the Ewo side, definitely think about that sub. However, I'm still deciding if I'm going to do this. Like I said, I'm on the under. Were I to take a side, I'd probably take Aslan. I think that who has a higher ceiling? Baranushki. We just don't know what he has to offer yet. And until I see what he has to offer, I can't lay chalk. So how would I play this? We do see that Evo is coming in at plus 170. That's pretty good. His KO is also plus 225. Every wins by knockout. So I don't hate both of those. So will I be playing the under? Definitely. Will I be playing Evo? I'm about 65% there, so there is a chance. Definitely can't play Baranushki by money line. Definitely can't play him by KO. So maybe the sub there. That's about all I got here, unless you have any more to add.
Yeah, so I totally agree. I wish we got a little bit more because I think Muhammad Ali was a good kind of. I mean, he came in as a pretty decent sized dog. I think he was a good measurement to like how good his power is, or like how good his striking is. We know he has power. How good his striking is. I really want to see his grappling tested because Ali was a jiu-jitsu world champ. So like, my assumption when betting Ali in that fight was he's gonna take him down, but he just like died in 20 seconds. So it doesn't really. You can't put a ton of stock into that win. I mean, it's a good win. You smoked the guy really quick. But I mean, Aslan historically is very tough to just KO. So I think Ewo definitely has upside here. I think he might be giving up a little bit of size, which could be a little problematic. But I mean, just the way Aslan looked against Kudalaba on the mat, where Kudalaba, like, who's the last guy Kudalaba subbed?
It was a decade.
Yeah. Was it pre UFC or was it like early? Yeah. So like, and that was like white belt shit. Like he wasn't moving to hit or anything, whatever. But like, yeah, I just think if Ewo gets on top, especially early, it could be super problematic. But yeah, like I said, under Ewo sub, stat sprinkle, maybe sub 1-2, something like that. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, like I said, I'm kind of on the fence at Evo. Likely just the under here. I
Yeah,
do not hate the Evo sub sprinkle. The last thing I'll say about the Evo sub is I did notice the two subs were in his first two amateur. I'm sorry, his first two professional bouts,
yeah,
both against 0-0 fighters. So, I do
true.
think there is a world where that sub doesn't reveal itself unless he's fighting an absolute taxi driver. Which is
Yeah,
why, but like at plus 650, that's an absolute fine shot to take. So, still figuring out exactly what I'll do here, but I'll definitely probably play the under, and probably some prop will come out, whether that's an
yeah.
Evo KO or a Baranushki sub. Something will come out.
Yeah, I saw, and they're both arm bars. I was able to find tape, I think, for the second fight. I'm like, it was recorded on a cell phone. I mean, arm bar is not super, you don't see that a ton. Not that you can't hit it, but you don't see that a ton in men's MMA, especially. So it's like, is he gonna like arm bar? Like, I doubt that, but like, who knows, man? Ebo's grappling looks so suspect, and it always has been. Like, Trikali, they fought twice, right? Trikali the first time, like, was just like one-way traffic, which is concerning. I mean, Trikali could grapple, but you know what I mean? Just here, it's not great. He's worked on his takedown defenses look better, but like there's so many examples of especially big guys, good takedown defense, good fit first layer, and then really struggle to get up once on their back. But yeah, so I agree with you. I think Ewo is the side. I think he finishes them early.
Gun to my head side, give me Ebo, but
Ebo,
like probably not taking a side here. Um,
gotcha.
Moving on, we have Edson Barbosa versus Jalen Turner. Barbosa, as of a couple days ago, is at plus 230. Jalen Turner minus 285. Those odds have since grown in either direction. I believe Jalen is now over minus 300, somewhere in the low 315 range. What I'll say here, in terms of Barbosa, he's won every way you can win. He's lost every way you can win. He has tons of experience. He's fought the who's who at lightweight. He went 4-4 at featherweight. What I'll say is he's definitely getting old. Definitely getting up there. I believe he's 39 right now. Turning 40 soon. He's still a good striker. He's still fast, but I don't necessarily think he is the Edson Barbosa that we used to know. The way Close was catching him in the stand-up in his last fight, he just doesn't seem to be what he once was, and age will do that to fighters. As we've heard 100 times, power is the last thing to leave, but I think the most important element of Edson's game is that speed and that dynamic ability. And I think that's going to go away with age, especially against someone like Jalen Turner, more reach, long, dangerous. I just don't see that game plan working out. Jalen on the other side, he is a finisher. When he doesn't win, he gets finished. So he's always he's lived by the sword, died by the sword. I will say that he's lost the last 4 of his 5. He was retired after his last fight. Not a good look either. I hate that element. Also, I do think I misspoke. My notes here are a bit jumbled. he has lost by decision. He's lost all three ways. He's finished all of his wins rather. But like I said, he's long. He's powerful. He had lots of great knockout standing. I think that he's a fairly fundamental striker in his technique, which I actually think lends well to that longer build. I think that he's got a lot of great straight down the pipe shots, which I think against an Edson is exactly what you need. I think that if he were to try to go dynamic for dynamic with Edson, that's where you get in trouble. I think you need a fundamental striker to really break down all those spins that you're going to see coming the other way. So the side here to me is obvious. The side here is Jalen. Were the odds less despicable, it would be Jalen money line and to cover and probably Jalen knockout. I see probably how this is going to go. Like I said, he's a big finisher, mostly by knockout. Edson's going to stay standing. Edson's been KO'd. There's just enough reasons for me to say likely a Jalen Turner KO coming here. But the odds, not sure if I can swing on it. I believe it is actually maybe around minus 110, minus 115. So for me, initially after looking at this fight, I was very hot on Turner money line, Turner KO. But now, just due to the odds, maybe the money line somewhere in a parlay, but not going to be reaching to that KO prop for no plus money attached to it.
I think you bring up some really good points. Oh, I'm sorry. You got anything else to add?
Nope, all done.
All right, yeah, I think you brought up some like really good points that I want to hammer home too. I mean, he just retired and looked pretty suspect against I'm pretty high on Bahamondes, but like come on, triangle off your back. He didn't look great in that fight, but I mean, you could give him a pass. He just seems like his head wasn't really in it. You know what I mean? Bahamondes is one of the few guys on the roster that can match that size too, and also has really good durability, good pace, good cardio, all that stuff. So I think he struggled with that too. Like usually when he lands on guys, especially early, they go down, and Bahamondes did not do that, so he struggled. Another concern with him, especially at Big Chalk, is early. He's like this guy could beat anyone early, right? Like he gives everyone a ton of problems. Very tough to grapple early. Gigantic for the division. Good power. Unbelievable straight shots. Like that hits down the pipe. I don't think like a 39-year-old Edson is there to return any fire. You know what I mean? But it does get insanely sketchy late. Which granted he's fought really good guys, right? Like Matus Gamrot. I had Gamrot bet at like chalk, and that was I think I got one. The judges finally gifted me one. That got really suspect. He dropped Gamrot, which is pretty unheard of, especially back in 2023. Gamrot had that legendary durability. He still does, but he's been getting hurt more and more. I mean, the Dan Hooker fight, he almost stiffed Hooker twice and early in the first and second round, and then it just got Hooker came back on. But I mean, those are two guys that have been in main events recently with Hooker fighting Saryukian. Gamrot just fought Charles Oliveira. So I mean, like again, it's the top five guys, elite of the elite, and Gamrot's not a great matchup for him. Someone who's going to chain wrestle him all night, who will fight a very insanely hard 15 minutes, good output. So I think that was a tough fight or a tough matchup, and he still almost won. I would argue he did win. And then again, Dan Hooker just does that, man. You got to put that man away, or else he keeps kind of chugging along. And that's another guy that is big for the division too. So he didn't have the crazy height and reach advantage that he normally does. And then the Bobby Green fight, he smoked him. One of the worst stoppages I've ever seen in my life. He was down, and he took like 17 unanswered shots. I mean, disgusting.
Oh.
Yeah, that was bad. I remember I was out somewhere and I was like, oh, they're trying to kill my boy. But yeah, and then again, the Moicano fight, he probably should have he had a KO, but he tried to walk off like Derek Lewis. Moicano recovered, got gassed, right? Got taken down, whatever. So, but those are all pretty good guys. Like Gamrot's a top 7 guy, Hooker's a top 7 guy, right? Even Moicano, fringe 10 maybe. Like just beat up Benoit Saint Denis not too long ago. So like again, he's losing to really good guys. And love Edson Barbosa, one of my favorite fighters of all time. He's fought everybody. I just think kind of the writing's on the wall. That Jakar close fight told me a lot of things. While it was close, I mean, Jakar has no power, right? Like, and that was really concerning. You almost knocked him out, I want to say, in the second round against the fence or the third. And I was like, yeah, it's sad. It's sad to see him go out like that. I mean, he just took a beating again. I don't know how he went all 5 against Lerone Murphy. He took a bad beating. The Sadiq Youssef fight, like he got 1080'd in the first round. Sadiq couldn't put him away. He built his way back up. Again, he's tough. He's not easy to finish historically, but like 39 years old. I don't love him up at 55. I think his best fights are at 45. So yeah, I just think surviving against Sadiq Youssef early is way different than surviving against Jalen Turner early. So I just don't think he could take the shots coming. You know what I mean? And like you said, power is the last thing to go. He has more than enough power. It's not like Turner is cast iron, right? Like he could 100% get finished, especially 2-3. But man, Edson just has not been lighting up the world in like the cardio department. He seems to be getting hurt more. So yeah, I think Turner should roll. And I'm with you on the KO prop. Like he does have opportunistic submissions, but like maybe he grabs a front choke. I doubt it. He won't offensively grapple. That's not his thing. So yeah, I'm with you. I agree. I think Jalen Turner's a. I got in on him early at like minus 225 in LA, and then I took him round one. I think you take him round one. I forget what odds I got. Plus money. You get him either method. I like that better than the 1.5 at minus. So yeah, I think Turner rolls here.
Can you
Especially if
take a
he,
guess at what those odds are?
I could check. I could check right now. But yeah. Do you have
Can you
anything else
just
to add?
ballpark estimate?
Uh, dude, I'm like completely blanking. Um,
Plus ones, plus twos?
it was in the ones.
Okay, that's enough information for me. Still, I don't know if I can get there for a round one. Potentially, but
160 plus 160, and you get either method. That was my thought process because he does grab front chokes
he
and
does.
stuff. So I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, I got no more notes on this one, so whenever you're ready, take away the next one.
Yep. Next up we got the brickhead Marvin Vittori against Bruno Ferreira. And yeah, I mean, I think this is a good fight. I think this is the fight that just to be transparent, I am on the Vittori side. I think this is and I know that's kind of scary at this stage of Vittori's career, but I just think historically his archetype gives guys like Bruno Ferreira a ton of problems, right? Like I know Vittori looked pretty, I don't want to say washed, but definitely has lost a step to the guy that fought Israel Adesanya all those years ago. And kind of took a beating against Delice. But I mean, Delice is top six, top seven guy in the division. I mean, gigantic for the weight class, huge for the weight class. He's a former 205er, pretty good power, right? Opportunistic submissions, good grappler. And he still landed like over 100 significant strikes in a 5 round fight where he was taking a beating. So I mean, his output is unbelievable. He's willing to shoot takedowns and chain wrestle if he has to. Like, does not get tired. Like I said before, doesn't have much of a finishing ability, but like could wet blanket people in theory. And yeah, I mean his last five were like Brendan Allen, who I mean just shocked the world doing that to RDR, right? Delice decision, lost decision. The concern is that Jared Cannonier fight where he took a horrendous beating and just seems to not be the same. But like to think Bruno Ferreira is any level of fighter and anything as Cannonier would be crazy to me to say. So I just think good, solid enough like fundamental boxing. The bigger man. I think Vittori's skill sets really strong, especially when he's the bigger man. I think just the length, the size, the output. I think he's gonna pace this guy really hard, and yeah, just bigger, stronger, better. I don't love for not that Vittori is a huge finisher, but I don't love Bruno Ferreira's durability either. It seems like, especially in 2-3, while he rarely gets there, it gets extremely sketchy, regardless of who he's fighting. I think he's a welterweight also. Like, I think if he could lose a little bit of muscle and go down to welterweight, he's only 5'10". He's always given up a ton of size. And yeah, I mean, he's live to pretty much KO anybody early, but he's KOing pretty low level guys. You know what I mean? Other than the Gregory Rodriguez fight, who we know, I love me some RoboCop, but that man gives you every opportunity to hit him back. So he couldn't take it back in a fight where Rodriguez was dog walking him, right? Had him against the fence, was landing more, was doing more, and then he just pulled like counter left hand, just smokes G-Rod. I mean, getting KO'd by Ruzaboyev early, like not the highest on Ruzi. I know he was giving up a ton of size to Ruzi, but whatever. Phil Hawes, everyone KOs Phil Hawes. And then he was going life and death with Stolfus until he landed like a double spinning elbow. So yeah, I just think Dicey looked terrible against Abus as soon as he got taken down. He got put in that arm triangle choke, gassed out pretty bad. Petrosian, I thought, was beating him up, and they got like that opportunistic submission early again, like 4 minutes and 27 seconds in round two. Like, if he could get a hold of you early, it's a problem. But like, no one's done that to Vittori. I doubt Bruno Ferreira is the first guy to do it. He hasn't fought these guys. I don't think it's a good spot for him. What about you?
I do think my thoughts more or less mirror yours, so I'll try to be a little bit quick with this run through, just so it's not a complete repeat here. But I do agree.
Too much.
I'm absolutely on Vittori here.
Yeah.
I will say that like I very even though he does have that wrestling, that submission base, very rarely do I not see him happy to stand and bang. Um, in my opinion, probably the best chin in MMA. I think it's like him. Kelvin Gastelum's another good mention, but I really do think Marvin probably takes the cake on best chin in MMA. Never been finished, never been submitted, never been knocked out. Like you said, far better comp. Super durable. I will say he's hittable, but he's never been knocked out, so hit him as much as you want. He's not going to fade. Like I said, he's got some good sub defense. He's got himself out of some hairy sub situations. One being a tight rear naked choke from Brendan Allen. He mentioned survived a lot of a round on bottom there. Brendan Allen hooks in. I think he's got some okay takedown defense. I could potentially see him getting taken down, but I don't really see Bruno Ferreira with the amount of distance he's gonna have to make up to get in there. I don't like he's gonna have to rush forward and become so obvious with that rush. I really like your point about Vettori doing well against larger opponents. I think this matchup is well designed for him. When I accidentally said Turner has lost every fight, been finished, I was accidentally reading my note for Bruno Ferreira. Every fight he's won, he's got a finish. Every fight he's lost, he's been finished. So that kind of offsets my general Vettori over thought, and it makes me kind of not want to take an over and under here, no matter what, because if this fight goes kind of like Vettori's way, it could go long. If it goes the Bruno route, no matter who wins either way here, just who's kind of controlling the pace, it'll be shorter. So I'm not interested in predicting which way that goes. I'm just interested in saying I like Vettori for that reason, and not enough to take his decision, though I think if he weren't fighting someone who were so live by the sword, die by the sword, it would probably be a decision, but not going to reach for that here. There's enough meat on the bone here for me to take Vettori normally. In terms of Ferreira, I will say that his losses aren't as good as Vettori's losses, clearly. He is strong. He's super powerful. He does have some takedowns and some jiu-jitsu when he's down there. But again, I just don't think it's going to be enough to deal with the massive step up in competition that I really don't think he should be taking right now. So definitely on Vettori here, mirroring your thoughts. And I think we have a pretty clear perception of what's going on with this fight.
Yeah, 100%. I think he's definitely the side at pick'ems, like more ways to win, like you said. I do have a question for you though. Do you think if Vettori gets a finish, do you think it's a sub or a KO, like a TKO?
I think it's probably submission.
Yeah, me too. Like gets the back or something. I think it's round three. Like if you have a book that does round three slash decision props, I think if it's any plus money, that's not a bad look. Yeah, I just think he cooks him pretty late. And like one last thing, I know we spent a ton of time on this fight, but I just think like his best win's probably Roman Dolidze, who I rate pretty solid. Like other than just meme KOing G Rod, what's his name? What's Bruno's best win? Like Petrosian?
I think so. This is probably worth investigation here.
Yeah, Petrosian. Like Phil Hoss can't take a punch.
Not
Yeah,
Jackson
Petrosian or
McVeigh.
Stoltzfus. Yeah,
Yeah.
McVeigh, your
Uh,
boy from LFA GOAT, but yeah, not the greatest.
yeah, I'd probably say Stoltzfus just because of the experience, but yeah, nothing that makes you really
How
go
he
peak
did it.
mode.
Yeah. No, I
So
hear
I'll
you.
have to agree with you there.
I hear you. Yep.
Next fight this is the one I was highlighting. This is one that I will have my popcorn and my beer ready for. This is Fares Ziam, French killer, against Nazim Sadikov, who I am super high on. I'm a big Nazim Sadikov fan. I love his style. I love the way he moves. I love the way he strikes. I love the way he's game. I love his durability. I just think he's that package. He's from that area of the world, we'll say, but he doesn't have the common traits that the fighters from that area of the world have. So that's really a breath of fresh air. You know, he has a beard with a mustache attached, huge. Really loves to stand up, fell in love with his hands. Training with Ray Longo in Long Island, he's a killer. His teammates say great things about him. Tons of heart, trains like a freak. So really had a lot of good things to say about him. In terms of Ziam, what I'll say is he has had a really hot streak recently, some impressive wins. And he's long, he's tall, he's lanky. He uses that length in the stand up very well. Even in the wrestling game, I think he has pretty good takedowns and pretty good takedown defense with the amount of lanky leg space he has. He really handles that well. I will say he is a nasty striker for SEM. Really uses in sort of a Jalen Turner-esque way. Really good, goes down the pipe, straight shots. Really using the long arms he has. Filthy striking in the clinch. I mean, he nearly decapitated Matt Frivola with that knee. I know you're probably gonna bring that up yourself. Freakish. May Matt Frivola rest in peace after that disgusting knee. I will say that he is impressive and definitely should not be overlooked in this matchup at all. The odds alone being the proof of that. He's minus 135 last I checked. What I will say, I'm siding with Sadikov here. I do think, while I am backing this bet with my head, I am also in a way betting this with my heart just because of how much I love Nazem. But I back it, like I said, I back it with my brain as well. Nazem Sadikov, the one loss on his record was his first fight, so I kind of overlooked that. I will say that he has looked completely dominant, other than his one fight, his draw with Vyacheslav Borshev. I will say, to his credit, Vyacheslav Borshev, in terms of pure kickboxers, one of the best in lightweight ever. In terms of pure kickboxing alone, not mixed martial arts, but I think he's one of the best kickboxers the lightweight division has ever seen. I think he's fantastic, and that night he looked, I think, maybe the best he's ever looked. Borshev looked incredible that night. Best kickboxer, maybe not best, but up there. Top 10 kickboxers in lightweight, 100%. And that being said, on his best night, Nazem stuck with him. I will say that Nazem's a big KO guy, durable, very durable, good sub defense. Like I said, I absolutely love his striking. He really rips the body very nicely, almost in a Topuria-esque manner, the way he rips the body with his hooks and his uppercuts. I will say, I've seen his legs get kicked a couple of times. That's made me kind of curious for his real wide stance. His front foot's real far out, and his left foot is there to be chewed. Other than that, he's got some good ground and pound. He showed some okay takedown defense. So while I think his forte definitely is striking specialist, I can't see ZM manhandling him to the ground. I do think that Sadikov's getting up some size, which is probably what is causing him to be the underdog here. But man, I love his skill. I love his power. I love him. I'm Nazim all the way. Let's go. Nazim Sadikov, money line for me.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably the fight of the two title fights I think I'm looking forward to the most. As soon as I got this booked, I mean, this is just straight up violence in all aspects, because even both these guys have gone to grappling in the past, but it's with violent intent. You know what I mean? They're not just kind of laying praying. They're throwing ground and pounds. I guess to start with the Sadikov side, I mean, I've always been super impressed with him. I'm very high on Evan Elder, and I know he was down two against Elder, but I think Elder's insanely solid, just doesn't fight often enough. And he got that cut stoppage, which shows that he's going for it constantly. I mean, he's always on the front foot. You could hit this man with bombs. Like, it's a meme between us two and all of our friends about, like, he's durable to the head, but what about the body? I mean, Sadikov ate like 40 fight ender liver shots against Slava, and like just like didn't slow down. He just kept going and returned fire back. And yeah, just disgusting in the boxing range. Like, throws everything with murder's intent. Um, I do understand why he's the dog, in the sense of, like, a lot of people have been preaching ZM for a long time, and his, like, early in his UFC run, he was just so young and green in MMA. You know what I mean? He definitely has that Muay Thai style. Has good Muay Thai, very solid Muay Thai, good leg kicks, and like you said, man, the clinch striking is pretty elite. That knee was brutal. And I know you people clown on Frivola, but that man can grapple. He did a really good job stuffing that. He has a 6-inch reach advantage here. I do think the way Sadikov kind of comes in on a straight line, that jab is there all night, and the low kicks, which could be very problematic. But I do think their grappling kind of negates each other. Maybe if there is a takedown here or there, Sadikov does get one or two, but I don't really see him like holding him down for like the half the round, all of the round. But yeah, I just really like where his growth is. Like, it seems to be he's like a student of the game, learning on the job. Just looks better and better every single fight. A really good fighter. I mean, both these guys are really good, really durable. It is a car crash, but I think overs, even if it's super chalk, he's pretty safe. Um, yeah, I just think, I mean, if there's a finish, it's probably a Sadikov finishes him to the body or something, or grabs like a choke, because ZM has been submitted against McKinney really early, but that's what McKinney does, right? Gets early finishes. But other than that, he's shown like extremely good durability. Looked very much improved since the Puelles fight. Gave up a ton of takedowns, but stayed active. Was able to win a split there. Um, and yeah, I mean, I know it wasn't the greatest Mike Davis performance, but man, did he beat his ass. Mike Davis lost a ton of blood that night. Um, yeah, I'm happy with the way he's going. I decided to play, and I love both these guys. I know you're a Sadikov guy. I love Sadikov too. I played ZM decision at like plus 130. I just think the jab, low kicks, in the clinch, knees, like the way the Sadikov boxing style will open the tie clinch, knees to the body. I just think ZM will just do a little bit more, as crazy as that sounds, because what's his name's a wild man. But yeah, I think ZM is my pick, but I think fight of the night for me, 100%.
Fight of the night, absolutely.
Mhm.
I couldn't agree more. I'm really looking forward to this. We'll see what happens. I already know who you have in the next one, but I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, Macy Barber versus
Queen herself.
Karini Silva. Yeah, I mean, I I liked Karini Silva when she came over to the UFC. Like, I mean, a finisher in women's MMA is pretty rare. Like, she has a ton of, I think only 2 decision wins, if I remember correctly. Like, a ton of subs, good power, like, pretty underrated power, honestly. Like, I know it KOing not maybe not the greatest women, but I mean, just like showing any sort of power at this division is just kind of unheard of. You know what I mean? So, super opportunistic, super dangerous, which I love. But the only concern with her was her fight against Barbosa in her last. She didn't look great in my opinion. I think she was getting. I don't rate Barbosa super high. She was getting reversed and kind of stuck on her back and playing guard way too much for my liking. And I think you're just kind of losing the round at that point if you don't get like a quick submission off your back, which I highly doubt happens to Macy Barber. Insanely, I've never been a Macy Barber guy, but insanely violent, like throws everything with murder's intent. I mean, with disgusting elbows on top. Will hunt takedowns for herself, but like just always in your face. You know what I mean? Always going forward. I think she just kind of will force a war in this fight. Like Karini Silva is more than willing to exchange here with because she's got good power, but I don't really see her hurting Barber or like knocking her down or anything. So I think the forward pressure will eventually kind of get to Silva, who has shown signs of slowing down as fights kind of get extended. The only concern with the Barber side, I would say, is if Silva gets the back early or gets a, you know what I mean, gets mount or like something could be kind of disastrous. But yeah, I think Silva shoots a lot out of the clinch. Like we'll go body lock, stuff like that. And Barber's really strong there. So I think Barber's only 27, improving a ton. I do wish we got to see that Aaron Blanchfield fight because I feel like that would kind of tell a lot about her grappling and where her striking's at. But we don't get that unfortunately. But I ended up going with Barber. I think I parlayed her at like minus 185 with Jalen Turner early in the week. I just think she's going to do more. Force a war, good output, good durability, dog improving. The only concern would be for the Barber side. One is getting taken down super early, and two, kind of long layoff due to medical reasons, which you never love. But I think it's a decent matchup for her. What about you?
I am on the Macy Barber side as well. I do consider myself a slight Macy Barber fan.
Mm-hmm.
One, we can't argue that she is a good looking girl. It's true. The second thing I'll say is she's fun, man. Like she's a
Mm-hmm.
bulldog in there. She pressures. She throws bombs. Like in the women's flyweight division, Macy Barber throws bombs.
Yeah.
She's never been finished. I will say she has pulled out of her last 2 fights, which you don't love. She had that. She wasn't medically cleared. Hours or minutes prior to her fight with Blanchfield. I think it came out that was some sort of like anxiety attack or something. And I've dealt that stuff in the past, so it's not the right thing to do to bash or anything. But I will say that just regardless of the reasoning for pullouts, two pullouts in a row just like doesn't put a good feeling in my stomach. But aside from that, she did have that nasty foot reconstruction as well, which was the reason for the first pullout. Just yuck. But like she's a clinch bully. She hits hard. She has showed some improved takedown defense in her last couple fights. She has some good get up games she showed in her last couple fights. I think she has some solid takedowns that can come from a body lock. She's not really like a conventional wrestler double leg shooter, but she does get into the clinch, gets a body lock, and she'll just drag you down with muscle. That's just the Macy Barber way. She's a bulldog. Um, I think she's on a solid streak right now, aside from the pullouts. And I'm just impressed with what she has to bring to the table in the striking. And I do think that the improved wrestling and get up could be enough to get her out when she's dry in the first round against Karine. Karine, like I said, very exciting. I heard someone describe her as the Charles Oliveira of women's MMA because she has finishes. I don't agree with that. To be honest, I do think she has finishes, but I think that that's two very different statements. Chucky's the goat. Let's not go there.
King.
But just like you said, a finisher and a women's division that's exciting, that brings eyes and attention. Um, Mostly subs from her. If I'm not mistaken, let's take a quick look at that. My notes are a bit crowded here. So barely mostly, just huge finisher. But I'll say with her is I have not been impressed with what I've seen in her last few fights. Seems like she has her looked like mid takedown defense against Dion Barbosa, again constantly reversed. Didn't see anything in the striking department in that fight that made me think like, wow, she's gonna be able to hang with Macy Barber on the feet. Like I said, she just had that solid sub game, and when she does connect, she has power. I don't love the takedowns I see from her. So what you're looking at here is that she, in my opinion, in order to win this fight, I don't think she wins by decision. I don't think she wins by control. I think for Karini Silva to win, she's gonna have to get a submission. Could that happen? Yeah. If you were to bet Karini, I'd probably take the sub if I were you. But I'm not personally. I can't get there. I just think Macy Barber has more to offer. I think she can. I think she'll do a better job of handling Karini's game than Karini will do with handling Macy's game. And for those reasons, I'm on Macy Barber. If she sees this video and she wants to go out on a date with me, we'll go out and get pizza.
To kind of tie everything together, you brought up a good point about the body locks from Barber. Also, like the Barbosa fight, like you brought up, Silva just seemed all right with going to her back, which Barber's just not going to give her room to throw up submissions off her back or hit a sweep or anything. You know what I mean? Like Barber's insanely violent. So yeah, I just think she could punish her in those spots where like Karini Silva kind of uses to take a break. I think it's a good fight though. I think both these women are good. But yeah, give me Barber. I think Barber. I was just looking like I think a Barber late finish isn't crazy, and also a Karini Silva like back take in the first exchange isn't crazy either. Like plus 190 ish for. I know it sounds crazy because it's a women's MMA, it's only plus 190, but just the way they match up, like a plus 190 fight doesn't go. If you want to build some character with me, I'll
I
probably on that.
I actually forgot to say my picture of that fight. I'm on Barber money line, like I said. And I actually do have the under 2.5 written down.
Okay, look
Um,
at you.
I do like those under 2.5s when there's a good plus money because, like I
Mhm.
said, people always think that the women's fights are always going to go the distance. So
Yeah.
whenever I see a matchup, like whenever I see Molly McCann, I'm on the under plus money.
Hmm.
Whenever I see a fight like this, I'm on the under plus money. So with you there, and I apologize for not bringing that up sooner.
No, all
You
good.
ready to
All
jump into
good.
the next one?
Yeah, wait, one more thing though. You remember what my girl Thanara did to Molly McCann? Don't Streets will never forget that one. Retired her, sent her to boxing, fighting on prelims of random British cards. So we'd love to
Thainara,
see.
looking forward to seeing Thainara's return. Certainly, I know that is your future wife we're talking about there.
Yes, yes,
Um,
yes.
Next fight, this one is another one I'm really looking forward to. This is Terrence McKinney, Chris Duncan.
Banger.
This one is going to be fireworks. It was previously scheduled in 2023. Duncan had some visa issues, so it had to happen eventually. Terrence McKinney, man, where do I start? He is maybe the definition of the phrase I've used several times tonight. He is live by the sword, die by the sword, more than Jalen Turner, more than Bruno Ferreira. He's round one, live by the sword, die by the sword. What I would say is if people can handle that first round, he does tend to get finished in the second, at least more recently. So I think once it gets out of the first for Terrence, no matter who he's fighting, it does get a little bit shaky. Terrence, like I said, finisher, get finished, one round guy, explosive as hell, super athletic, striking, wrestling, submissions, potentially one of the most dangerous level one, round one fighters that there is. If a fighter can weather the early storm, I definitely think that things start to move in their favor. In terms of Duncan, man, he is someone who is there for a fight, no matter with who or when. I do think that he's someone who kind of wears damage a lot. If you hit him, you're gonna be able to see it on him. It's just his genetic makeup. He just really wears damage, which I don't think is a good look because scoring will go against him if it goes to decision. Also, when he loses, he does get finished, which also doesn't look good against Terrence McKinney, because that's what's going to happen to you. He has had a recent good streak against good opposition. Great Rebecca fight. He's super 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 tough. I do think Duncan is the archetype that does survive the first round, and I do think when that happens, it becomes his world. What I will say is I don't mind. I haven't looked at the odds. Do we know the under 1.5 odds here? While you are, I'll keep blabbing while you're
Yeah,
looking at
yeah,
that.
yeah.
What I will say is, in terms of Duncan, I do think he makes it out of that first round. I do like Duncan inside the distance just due to the nature of Terrence McKinney. I also do like betting Duncan live. I think that first round could be war. Terrence could be coming out on top. Duncan could be ugly, could be bloody, could be bruised. Give me the most horrible looking Duncan at the end of round one to give me some great odds going into round two. I think there's some money live. What were those odds?
To the under 1.5 is minus 340.
So yeah, no real cheddar there. So for me, I'll probably be doing some Duncan inside the distance,
Yeah.
and probably also potentially some Duncan live, depending on how that first round goes.
Yeah, no. you bring up some good points. I mean, this is another crazy car crash fight, which we have another one coming up next. Yeah, I mean, McKinney's just the one round goat. Like that guy can finish anybody early. Like really, really good takedowns, pretty good power early. I mean, he smoked for Vola in like 5 seconds. But it seems like lately he kind of looks to grapple early, and I think he might get takedowns, but Duncan's super opportunistic with submissions. Especially that guillotine choke is nasty. Like Jordan Vucenic hasn't really panned out, but like he's not a bad fighter. And man, Vucenic like was like, oh my god, I'm running out of air. So tapped so quickly. That was a nasty bite. I know a lot of people aren't super high on Belagioki, but I mean physical specimen, good durability. Choked him out with the guillotine choke. And yeah, I've never been a Duncan guy historically. Like after I think Borshev KO'd him on a contender series, like KO'd him really bad out cold. And I was like, oh yeah, this guy has some durability issues. Like I don't love his chin. Because he's not the most defensively sound. But I mean, man, he's proved me wrong. I had the under in the Rebecca fight, the Duncan Rebecca fight to close like a nice lay. And Jesus, they took a beating. He just kept going though. He's huge for the division. Like I think he has more than enough power to KO McKinney in the first, second, third. Insanely big cardio edge. I think he also does have the durability edge. Like McKinney really falls off as soon as things get tough. Yeah, I just think Duncan, if he takes a beating early, could 100% take it and weather the storm. I think like a sneaky plays Duncan by sub. I think he could 100% grab a guillotine choke. I think he could 100% club and sub McKinney, who will shoot as soon as he gets hurt. But yeah, I think Duncan's the side, and that's rare for me. I'm not the biggest Duncan guy, but I just think it's a car crash fight. But Duncan, like you said before, has more ways to win. So yeah, give me Duncan. And last thing I wrote down in my notes is every time Rebecca would come into the pocket, Duncan had like that step in elbow. Nasty, man. And McKinney does a lot of stuff in boxing range. So yeah, I think Duncan sub. Fight ends in sub. Also, if you want to take like a McKinney early back take or something like that, because it has happened. Like Duncan got subbed by Manuel Torres. So yeah, I think under, even though it's juice to the gills, I just think every McKinney's never been over 7.5 minutes in like how many fights? Almost 30. So yeah, under, fight ends in sub, Duncan sub. I like the Duncan side here.
Awesome.
Anything else?
Take it away.
All right. Next, another good fight, which is rare because he's not the most fun to watch, but Grant Dawson versus Manuel Torres. Yeah, pretty extremely binary fight, I think. Like I think Dawson, in unbelievable wrestler and grappler. Like when he gets on top, people tend to not get up. And good back takes. Like he showed insanely good ground and pound against Rafa Garcia. Like split him open really bad. I think the first man to stop Garcia, if I'm not mistaken, got on top of him, just completely mauled him. And he knows what to do, right? He's not playing. He's not striking with people. He's shooting right away. Really, really good low single, which I think a guy like Torres' size could give him some problems. And I think he only needs one takedown each round. I don't know enough about Torres' ground game to like be like confident that he's gonna get up or anything. Like his takedown defense against Duncan was like, I'm just gonna grab an underhook and muscle you off early. And like Dawson's quite a bit better of a wrestler than Duncan, especially. I just don't see that happening. But the one thing that's stopping this from being a home run is Dawson's chin just is not good. Like what happened again, you could say fluke, whatever. He got KO'd by a jab, like borderline stiff by Bobby Green. In a fight where he had takedowns for essentially free. And Green has no power. And he did not react well to shots. But yeah, they're both huge for the division, both really long, but super binary, like I said. And then Manuel Torres, on the other hand, is like kind of the complete opposite. It seems like he kind of just wants to strike, unless he could grab like an opportunistic submission, like I said about Duncan earlier. I mean, this guy has unbelievable power. Like what he did to Dober was, I know Dober's a little over the hill, but what he did to Dober was pretty disgusting. When he hits these guys, they just die. So Dawson, who just is not known for his durability, it seems like a recipe for disaster, but I don't think he gives them that puncher's chance. I think he shoots early and often, and Torres just muscling takedowns. Someone's going to get him eventually. You know what I mean? So, yeah, guns to my head, give me Dawson, like Dawson sub, but I probably won't play anything here. I think it's a super binary fight, maybe unders. Even though Dawson historically is like a a guy who goes later in fights. I just think the way they match up. Um, Dawson's the pick for me. What about you?
So were these evens? Dawson would be the pick. However, these are not evens, and for that reason,
Mm-hmm.
I got to take Torres here.
Mm-hmm.
What I will say is regarding Dawson, those KO losses plural or singular. I'm having plural here in my notes. Let's see. I think it is plural.
Both is
Those
awesome.
KO
Yep.
losses plural, not a great look, especially when you're fighting the Manuel Torres. One of the most dangerous strikers that you'll see. Um, Dawson, crazy chain wrestling. Once he gets you down to controls, gross. Great ground and pound elbows, like really vicious, like you're talking about against Rafa Garcia, like really vicious. Um, does seem less comfortable in the stand up. He seems like he's been focusing on that and getting more comfortable over the last few fights, but being comfortable standing up against one fighter is different than being comfortable standing up against Manuel Torres. I think that he is the prime. He's shown himself to be primed to get knocked out by a Manuel Torres. And when you're showing me a plus 200 on the money line, the KO's got to be even juicier. So for the value, I'm interested in Torres. Like I said, gun to my head, money line pick winner, probably Dawson, but at this price tag, I have to be Torres. For Torres, like I said, he's another live by sword, die by sword guy. Finisher gets finished. Crazy power striker. I will say I have found that he leaves some openings on the feet, but I don't think Dawson is one to expose them. Dawson could certainly take him down and could certainly control him for 15 minutes or sub him or get ground and pound. I do think that Dawson's wins stem from the takedown, and I do think he can get the takedown. So for that reason, I don't think that the Dawson play is stupid at all. But you just have to look at like the violence coming from Torres. That Nicholas Mata finish was filthy, and just like at that number with the violent profile, like he just must be worth the step. So for me, I will likely be on Torres inside the distance. I might be on Torres round one, and I'll probably be as a cover potentially on the under 2.5 to cover all of that. Because while Dawson is a decision guy, I just think with the way Torres fights, anyone who beats him is primed to finish him, as his record clearly shows. So for that reason, Torres inside the distance and round one as in sprinkles, and probably the under 2.5 as my cover.
Yeah, no. You bring up good points. Like Dawson's just striking defense, like durability, whatever you want to call it, just isn't great. And Torres burns so hot, man. Like he even like the shots he landed on Bahamondes, who's got really good durability, would stiff like 90% of the roster, right? So yeah, I think Torres one is super live. And I think like if you were to play him, I would just play ITD or one as his money line because I don't really see him winning the later rounds. I saw like minus 240 fight doesn't start round three. I think that's better than the 1.5 because I do see a world where Dawson gets a takedown like mid of round two and does get a finish late into round two or gets his head knocked off. So I think I don't mind fight doesn't start round three, but round three as a parlay piece. And the fight that stuck out to me, I know it was some years ago in like 2019, like Dawson against Arosa, who's a little bit of a similar archetype as Torres in the sense of like a finisher, right? Like long, good power, decent enough front chokes. He was kind of going life and death. So I think Torres is just kind of at this stage especially is just a more dangerous and better version of Arosa, even though Arosa is your boy. But yeah, I just think it's super binary. Like I said before, I think someone gets served.
Agreed. You good to move on?
Yep.
Now we have the GOAT at light heavyweight. We have Jan Blachowicz versus Bogdan Guskov. I can be pretty quick here. I feel very strongly here. I wouldn't be surprised if we felt the same on this one. This is black and white as it gets to me. Jan. I love Jan Blachowicz. All the homies love Jan Blachowicz. CJ loves Jan Blachowicz. CJ's mom loves Jan Blachowicz. We all love Jan Blachowicz. He's won and lost all three ways, both. He has gotten, in my mind, he is one of the worst rubbed fighters in UFC history. Bad break against Pereira, that was a close fight. Bad break against Ank, that was a close fight. Bad break against Ulberg, that was a close fight. I think he's the product of the UFC pushing which winner they think will make them more business. UFC, every promotion is guilty of this, not just UFC, not to call them out, but Blachowicz, I just think he's been snubbed a lot. I think had he gotten some better roles, he could really be in some conversations. So it's a real shame for that. I will say he's getting older. He looks great. He's looked great as he gets older and he keeps fighting, the experience is building. He's not super fast, so the speed like lost with age isn't hitting him that hard. He's keeping his power. He's got good defense in the stand up and on the ground. He's really well rounded, like really well rounded. Somewhat of a generalist, but again, I use that as a compliment. Um, what I'll say is, he just he's got vile leg kicks as well, really hard. He's made of iron, and I just don't think Bogdan Guskov is ready for this. Bogdan Guskov is a big KO guy. He's lost all 3 ways. He's got great power. I do think that his hands stay sort of low. His striking is sort of sloppy. He leaves openings. Those openings have been exposed. I know that Ozdemir subbed him, but Ozdemir rocked him before that. And that was his first big fight up. Wasn't ready for that level. If you're not ready for Ozdemir, I know it's been a little bit of time, but I don't think you're ready for Jan. I think Jan is leagues above Ozdemir, and Ozdemir is leagues above you, frankly. I think that Guskov, he could even potentially have some suspect takedown defense. Spent a lot of time on the ground. Billy Elikhanov just took him down. He goes nothing and stuck the back. Much smaller than Guskov that fight as well. So yeah, I don't think Guskov is ready for this test. I don't think there's not much else has to be said. So I am fully Emil Blachowicz, quite confident as well.
Yeah, no, I echo the same sentiments as you. I think it's Jan all day. I wish if this fight was like 2, 3 years ago, it's a max bet of the highest order, even at like -200. I think it's a nightmare matchup for Gusev. But like you said, I mean, legendary durability, insanely good low kicks. You pretty much can't low kick him back. Like you said, he's made of steel. Like Joe Rogan said, he's made of iron. This guy's bone density is crazy. You see, like Ank was throwing kicks back and hurting his own leg, which is like completely unheard of. I mean, he hasn't gotten a KO in a while, but you could tell when he hits guys, it bothers them. Ask Dominic Reyes about that. But yeah, I just think the age isn't so much of a concern because he hasn't shown like durability issues or like that he's getting hurt or that he can't take a punch. Like you said, he's never been quick. He's never relied on speed. He's relied on good precision rather, and like just good raw power. I just think Guskov pretty stand right in front of you, doesn't check low kicks. He only really uses his hands. You know what I mean? Um, I just think it's low key kind of disastrous for him. Like you said, his best attributes is power, but like historically, that has never bothered Jan like that. And what's up?
No, I'm just thinking about the leg destruction inbound
Yeah,
here.
yeah, right. He's like has that kind of hands low boxing stance, and I mean, this guy was losing to Zach Palga, who literally can't take a punch. Um, Yeah, I don't know. And then Krylov also has been shaky. I know that was like a sweet KO, and I've always been a Krylov guy, but like he's kind of been right? Like lost the step. So I think Jan all day. Not to mention Jan could probably just go to the grappling if it gets dicey on the feet. So yeah, I think Jan inside the distance. I probably lean KO. But yeah, I think Jan. Good spot on the money line. Uh Me or you?
All you, man.
All right. Henry Cejudo versus your boy, Peyton Talbot. Um, yeah, let me just pull up what
You
I
love calling fighters my boy,
no, no,
don't you?
I know. Yeah, I guess we'll start with Cejudo. He definitely, I mean, great bantamweight, former champ, obviously, good back class, but I just feel like kind of he said retirement fight, so kind of towards the end of the road. He's given up a ton of size here, a ton of size here. And reach advantage. He hasn't looked great. Like I know Song Yadong can wrestle, and I'm pretty high on Song Yadong, but like I think he went what 1 for 3. He didn't really attempt much. He couldn't hold Song Yadong down. And he just looked like he's taken a couple steps back. I just think that this matchup is super problematic if he's not going to be like, oh, I'm going to put a singlet on and shoot 20 takedowns, which he hasn't done. Talbot, gigantic. Like I don't like the guy. I don't love him. I think he's horrible to listen to talk. But I mean, really good power, as you can see. Like pretty much killed Cameron Simon 10 times. Um, like I said, huge for the division. Pushes a huge pace. Doesn't really accept bottom. But I am concerned his grappling off his back against Barcelos was terrible. Like he wasn't moving. He gave up mount way too many times. I'm shocked Barcelos didn't sub him. We watched that fight together, right? That was the craziest hate watch I've had in some time in MMA. But I think the only way is Henry wins this fight is getting takedowns early and often, and I honestly just don't see it. I think the UFC knows what they're doing here. And from a betting side, like maybe Talbot by knockout, it's like plus 225. That's how I would play his side. I don't love his minus just because the unknowns of grappling. Like his grappling did look improved against Felipe Lima, but Lima's not the greatest wrestler. And that's coming from a big Lima guy. So yeah, I think Talbot with just pace, size, cardio should be all right here. What about you?
I echo a lot of the same sentiments here. Starting with Cejudo, I mean, one of the greatest resumes you'll see out of anybody in the octagon. Olympic wrestling credentials, championship credentials. What more could you want? Definitely getting up there in age. I will say that I don't think he looked horrible in the Song Yudong fight before that eye poke. But I don't like, similar to the Jalen Turner thing when you retire and have another fight. Like I don't like a fighter going into a fight saying it's their retirement fight. It just doesn't, just not a good feeling in my stomach. Once again, regarding Cejudo though, I will say durable, durable on the feet. Great MMA wrestling transfer that does lend the credentials into wrestling beautifully. I don't think he uses it as often as he could/should. But when he needs to and when he does, I think it's great. Good defense and offense from a wrestling perspective. I do think that he has showed that he's struggled with some taller strikers, taller opponents rather. He had some trouble with Aljo getting in there. Aljo's just tall, and you're about to deal with a tall guy, so I don't think it bodes well there. I will say that there is some great value here on Cejudo. I'm seeing him at plus 225, maybe more. It was 225 last I checked. Let's see, probably even more now.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I do think there's great value there, and if someone were to take that bet, I wouldn't turn my nose up at it at all. Gun to my head, who do I have here? Probably Peyton Talbot. However, just as you, I hate the money line. Wouldn't take it. Probably wouldn't even take the KO either because I see a world where he wins by decision by outpointing on the feet. I'll say, just like you against the Barcelos fight, you look terrible with his ground game, terrible wrestling defense, terrible grappling, terrible sub defense. Looked much improved during Felipe Lima fight. I'm glad you brought that up because I was about to harp on that. Much improved. Had that not looked improved, that would have been enough for me to take Cejudo, but that improvement is enough to turn me off. Were I to play this, I'll probably play overs. I think this likely goes overs. I think both the stylistic matchup will go overs. If Henry wins, it'll be overs with a lot of wrestling and ground control. If Peyton wins, it'll be overs with a lot of stand-up, striking numbers, points. So I will likely be stabbing on the over 2.5, depending on if the odds are good enough. I would like to see them better than maybe minus 180 in order for me to get in on that. I haven't seen what they are, but we'll see what I do there. But it seemed like I echo a lot of the same sentiments. No money line for me, just an over. But I will say good value on Cejudo. I would take Peyton, but not that number.
Yeah, no, I agree. One last thing, I think if you are on the Cejudo side, you wait until fight night because they're gonna parlay Talbot, right? He always takes a ton of casual money. So if you get Cejudo like plus 350, that's a different story. You know what I mean? It's like kind of a system play as we call it. But yeah, I just think yeah, like you said it perfectly. I totally agree.
What's your threshold number to take Cejudo? For me, it's probably plus 3. If I see a plus 3,
Yeah, I think in the threes. Yeah, I think just with his back class and like his wrestling advantage. Yeah. Yep. Next is me, right? Former champ Brandon Moreno. Wait, is it me or you?
I think it's me, but I'm fine if you
Go,
want to take.
go.
Cool.
Just tell
So
me to
we've
show up
got
next time.
Moreno Tyra. Last I checked, Moreno's slight underdog around plus 115. Tyra minus 135, so a moderate favorite. Moreno, he's never been finished. He's got some great Mexican boxing, deceivingly long reach, real long, like primate arms that go down to his knees, which is great for his style. As any flyweight champion would be, great scrambler. Didn't even mention the championship credentials, don't have to. Tons of rematches at the highest level. He's seen all the looks at the highest level. He's fought and beat the best. Like I said, he can scramble, he can get up, he can sub, he can strike. He's got all of it. You don't get that high up in the flyweight division without being a complete fighter. And that he most certainly is. Tyra, on the other hand, once again, never been finished. I would definitely classify Tyra as a ground specialist. Filthy back takes. Probably some of the best back takes in the game, regardless of weight class. Great grappling. Can really ride the back standing. He'll ride the back and blow out your knee, like Alex Perez. On the ground, he'll ride your back and he'll sub you that way too. I do think he has some good fundamental striking and some good power. He showed that in his earlier fights. He showed that in his last fight as well, after the Royval fight. I'm drawing a blank. Park, perhaps, was
Mhm.
it Park? He fought Park, showed some improved striking there as well. But even before the Royval fight in his previous early UFC days, showed some good striking as well. So while it isn't polished at the level of his grappling, it's not like he has zero striking. It's not where he would choose to be against a difficult opponent like Brandon Moreno. Do I think he can strike? Yes. Do I think he can strike with Moreno? Probably not. Certainly can hold his own in the grappling. Probably has an advantage on the ground, I would say. So this fight, I think it's the same sort of binary feel, but much less so. One guy I think will do best in the stand-up, one will do best in the striking, but unlike the previous binary fight, Moreno can do either. Tyra can do either, but shouldn't. So slight binary skew on this, but not to the same level. I just think you have one guy who's a big stand-up advantage, one guy with a big ground advantage. In this fight, I'm going to have to go with Moreno. Moreno's money line here. I know a lot of people, a lot of sharp bettors are on Tyra. I don't think it's a bad play at all. I just say you're giving plus money on a champion who hasn't even looked bad. Even hasn't looked bad at all. Still, I would say still in his prime, still fresh. So I mean, if you're giving me plus money on the former champion with experience who has more time fighting at the highest level against the best guys, I got to go with it.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna have to agree. I'm on Moreno's money line also. I just think, again, you want to talk about back class. It's not even back class. He's 31, right? Like people think he's 34, 35. It feels like he is because he's fought and everybody's fought since I can remember, right? But I mean, he's still only 31. He's looked great as of late. Like I was really happy with how he looked in the Usyk fight. Very good pace, like very good cardio, as always. Like that's never been an issue of his. Mexican durability along with Mexican boxing. Like, dude, you have to hit that man with a bat to hurt him. Like, Figueiredo is probably the biggest puncher in that division's history, and man, he's fought him what 4 times, 3 times, and was fine. Like, maybe got dropped once. So yeah, that's not really a concern. And yeah, he's showed a ton of improvements in his kicking game against Usyk, which is weird because Usyk was the bigger guy. But like, man, he was blasting the low calf kick really well, which I think could give Tyra problems as a grappling heavy fighter. Blasting that lead leg's always good, kind of makes it not as easy to shoot. And yeah, I just think he has the scrambling ability to get out of bad positions. The only concern would be I don't even think he necessarily gets subs. I agree with you that Tyra's back takes are and rear naked chokes elite. But I just think it only being 3 rounds is my only hesitation. Like, and I have him bet already, but like there is a world where Tyra gets the back twice in 1 and 2, and then 3 it doesn't really matter what happens because I don't see Moreno finishing him. So that's a concern. But like historically, easier said than done. Like Pantoja was able to take his back, but I mean, I'm the biggest Pantoja supporter. That guy's top 3 pound for pound. Elite grappler. Like you do not want to go on the ground with that guy. And I mean, he survived recently. I know they fought years ago, but talking recent, fought Pantoja on really close margins. I just think what Pantoja brings to the game is a lot more dangerous than what Tyra brings. Um, so I just think he's kind of seen this archetype before, and he's had maybe didn't win, but he's had a little bit of success. So I just think Moreno, like you said, has a weirdly long reach for his size. Good jab, like good power. Should be quicker. I just think he gives Tyra all sorts of problems. But Tyra, on the other hand, is still really young, kind of learning on the job. Like when he came in, he fought only like regional Japanese talent. But man, as he looked good. I'm not the highest on Park, especially after that Bruno Silva fight, but did what he was supposed to do as Park, and he wasn't even that big of a favorite. Gave Brandon Royval everything he could handle. I think we both bet Royval in that fight, but I mean there were some dicey moments, right? Looked good. That back take against Perez was pretty sick. Unfortunate that his knee blew out because that's a really good tell. Like if that fight got extended, how this would go in the grappling. Um, but yeah, I just think Moreno has a little bit more ways to win, and the more polished, better pace, better cardio, better output. But I think the 3 round fight is what's stopping me from having like a decently sized bet. I think the three rounds favors Tyra.
Can't disagree with anything you said there. Feel free to take us to the first championship fight, man. I'm
No,
getting
I'm not
excited for
sorry.
these two.
Let me not cut you off. Yeah, I mean these two are insane. Alejandro Pantoja versus Joshua Van for the flyweight champion of the world. I mean, Joshua Van's just kind of taking the sport by storm, man. He was just some kid from an island. No one knew. He came in as a huge dog against Zalgis, right? Won that. And I mean, what is there not to love about him? Like extremely, extremely good boxing fundamentals, insane body puncher. We said Ilya Taporia-esque early. I mean, this dude will roast your body, especially if you have a high guard. Very good pace. Does not stop moving forward. Um, Even in the fight where he like lost against Charles Johnson, I wouldn't say it's a fluke, like he just got caught, but like I mean, he was winning every second of that fight up until that point. And Charles Johnson is just huge for the division, super crafty, right? Could give anyone a problem striking. So I don't even hold that against him. And how old was he when that happened? What is he now? Let me see. How old is he? I mean, he's 24. Like, whatever. It happens. He got caught. He was up 2 rounds. It is what it is. I mean, the Sharaz fight also had some dicey moments, but again, this is someone learning on the job, right? Especially in the grappling department. I think he said he had a wrestling coach at like 21. So what has he been wrestling for like 3-4 years? Like he's 100% learning on the job. I mean, beat the piss out of Cody Durden as that fight got extended. Looked good against Ray Saruya was able to get up, but the problem is he gave up a ton of takedowns. He gives up takedowns. Wrestling definitely is not his first skill. And the way his forward pressure is, he is there to get taken down. And I don't know how good his hips are, right? Like he's been taken down by way, way, way worse grapplers, and you just don't want that to happen against a guy like Pantoja. But man, his striking is beautiful. He's very exciting to watch. Good power. He seems to hurt all of these guys pretty much. And that Brendan Royval fight was ridiculous. Like fight of the year for me, I think, off the top of my head. And he took a beating, but man, did he beat the shit out of Royval. And I'm high on Royval. So yeah, good. Excited for this challenge. I just do think from a betting standpoint and a pick standpoint, I think Pantoja's just him. Simply like this guy is so elite at getting to the back and getting takedowns that like, especially, I mean, he's subbing these guys. Like Brandon Moreno's been grappling his whole life. Brandon Royval is a grappler. Like he's getting to the back, dominant positions, and is almost finishing these guys. Like what is he going to do to like a Josh Van who's been only grappling for 4 years? You know what I mean? Like I just think it's a little bit problematic. Like the rear naked choke he got on Kai Asakura was disgusting. Like regardless if you're high on Asakura or not, like the setup, the mechanics was nasty. And then just completely smoked Kai Kara France, who was a pretty popular dog pick, if I remember correctly. Man, this guy just seems to be doing everything right. He's won what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 fights in a row. Like he doesn't seem to be slowing down. Legendary durability. I mean, this guy's eating flying knees, head kicks, right hands a million times from Figueiredo, and he just keeps coming like a zombie. So I think he should be fine here. This fight 2 years from now is a different story. I just think Van's still kind of green and a little bit too soon because he's fought straight strikers. You know what I mean? Yep. But what do you think?
I echo a lot of the same sentiment, like I said, so I'll try to not be too much of a broken record here. Van, young, like we were saying with Moreno, like when you get to the highest level of flyweight, you need to be well-rounded, and that's where I think Van could get in some trouble. You won't find a better flyweight in terms of boxing. Digs to the body, shots to the head, filthy boxing. I think probably the best flat-out boxer at flyweight, potentially. What I will say is that he's got great pressure. He's got filthy counters. He seems to have good cardio. He builds into his fights. I will say, a note is that he has been finishing both of his losses. Something to have noted. I believe one's a knockout, one's a submission, if I'm not wrong. What I'll say about Van as well is that Royval fight, must echo as well, that was incredible. I do think that Van is somewhat subject to low kicks because of his stance. I will also say, Van seems to have... I really looked into the Ray Saruya fight and the individual takedown attempts, and the conclusion I came to is, in terms of vanilla takedown defense, being able to defend the conventional double leg takedown, Van's pretty good. Basic wrestling has taught him that. He can get the hip back, he can push down the head. Where Van struggles, I think, is when the takedowns become anything more than vanilla. Trips, body lock takedowns, single leg elevated takedowns. Ray Saruya had a crazy arm throw against him. So when you get those not vanilla takedowns is when I think Van will get taken down. And who better to do that to him than Alexander Pantoja? Body locks, single legs, trips, throws. So quite frankly, I agree. Pantoja moneyline to me feels almost like a cover. Pantoja sub would be the prop for me. I also don't mind the under 4.5. Especially in this fight, I think I haven't checked the odds, but I think the odds could be okay there. If you wouldn't mind filling me in on what the inside the distance or the under 4.5 is.
Yeah, sure.
Um, Aside from that, I echo all the same sentiments: Pantoja sub, Pantoja money line, and potentially that under.
Yeah, so my for the 4.5 it's -122. For the 3.5 it's +140.
So I would probably aim for that plus money there.
Hmm.
I mean, if there's a finish, it could certainly be in the first round, second round, third round. So not bad. But yeah, I really do love Pantoja sub.
Yes, yes, I am in agreement. I forgot to add what I bet. I did Jalen Turner and Jalen Turner, Pantoja, and then a prop in the next fight in a parlay. And then I did take Pantoja sub at like +150. And definitely, like you said, I just wrote down the 4.5. I think 4.5 or 3.5 is good spot.
Awesome. Seems like we're in complete agreement.
Yep.
Final fight of the night. This is the main event, UFC 323. This is the UFC Bantamweight Championship. Murad Dvalishvili versus Peter Yan. Wow, this is gonna be something. Murad, I mean, I think you can already give him Bantamweight GOAT. Crazy activity. We don't have to start with the crazy cardio, crazy wrestling, crazy heart. I think recently he's also been showing more finishing potential with that sub on O'Malley and an almost knockout of Corey Sandhagen rather. Sorry. So I've been incredibly impressed with Merab. At this point, I think the only way to beat Merab is to catch him. I don't think you're going to get him far enough in the wrestling to get him on the ground to sub him. And I don't think you're going to be able to beat him via decision. That's Merab's game. So in order to win against Merab, you have to catch him. Could Peter Yan catch him? Yes. I think Peter Yan is probably one of the best strikers, but boxers at bantamweight. I know he's widely regarded as the best boxer in bantamweight. I think if he isn't, he's podium at least. If he isn't one, in their previous fight, I will say Merab dogged him, kind of how you would expect Merab to dog him. Crazy takedowns, crazy pace, crazy cardio, and to be perfectly frank, I see that happening again. The odds would make the money line not worth it. Chances are the odds would probably make the decision not worth it either. I mean, just because of the recent, I mean, that might be -200 or more. And so I don't know. Like I was a Merab guy very early. And I got on him against Sean, against Umar, all those plus money fights earlier. But in this day and age, the secret's out about Mr. Dvalishvili. Everyone knows who he is. Everyone knows what he's capable of. So while I love Merab and probably a Merab decision because I don't think he's finishing Peter Yan. I mean, maybe you could throw in a parlay, but it is a risk of 5 rounds with those odds. So I would not be against passing. I would say that in terms of action on this fight, perhaps a Merab decision in a parlay somewhere, perhaps. And then maybe like an over somewhere in a parlay as well. So I do see this going, all 5, almost definitely.
Yeah. Is that it? Anything else you want to add or good?
Hold on.
Don't want to cut you off. But yeah, I mean, when you said Peter Yan's the best boxer in bantamweight, like he's probably top 3 in all of the UFC. Like this dude's hands are elite. The way he sees angles are crazy. He's pretty defensively sound too. Like a ton of output. Just tough, man. Like he's going forward. He's trying to hit you. Maybe he doesn't necessarily have the craziest one-shot KO power, but man, does he dig the body? They add up. Like he's slinging. He'll trade with anybody. Good takedown defense. Like, I mean, the only one who ever made him look like he had suspect takedown defense is Merab, who does that to everybody. So, like, I don't hold much stock. Aljamain Sterling, who I'm personally really high on, or was when they were fighting, really struggled to hold Yan down without the body triangle and taking the back. So yeah, I think Merab's the #1 bantamweight of all time, and I think Peter Yan's probably like 3, 4, 5-ish. Like, I mean, these are 2 really high level, pretty elite guys. And yeah, I have a really hard time not seeing, like you said, this fight going how it did the first time. I think to beat Merab, you have to catch him. And you have to catch him early. And I just don't know if Peter necessarily has the power to just like kind of put him out, right? Um, so yeah, I think that's a problem. I love overs. I mean, that's not a hot take, but I love overs. I think Merab wins a decision. I think if there's a finish, Peter Yan finishes him with like a shot or something, but I don't necessarily see that. But definitely on the Merab side, one thing I will bring up is, I guess, 2 things. The O'Malley fight, like he definitely won. Peter Yan. Like I think that was pretty clearly 29-28 Peter Yan, and the judges just kind of got it wrong. And then also the Aljamain Sterling fight was insanely close. Like I personally thought Sterling won, but it wouldn't have been a robbery if you had it the other way. Um, and those are two of the three losses that he had back to back, which both were extremely close, could have gone either way. But it seems like he kind of just reinvented himself. He looked like a different. He looked back to his old self against Song Yadong, like pushing more of a pace, doing those insanely good trip takedowns out of the clinch or like those Muay Thai sweeps that he's pretty elite at. And yeah, I mean, he's just a treat to watch. Like whether you like grappling, striking, everything he does is extremely pretty. And yeah, I there's not enough praise. I think the only guy who has his number would be Marab, right? Like I think 1A versus 1B situation. I think Marab just shoots a billion takedowns, like insanely good cardio, of course, good wrestling, like his chain wrestling will shoot, like I said, 50. And you brought up a good point about Sandhagen. It seems like he's sitting on his shots a lot more, right? Where it's like he's really steadying his feet. And he's like, you know what, I'm going to throw something. He doesn't have to worry about getting taken down. No one can hold him down. He's like, I'm really going to sit down on the shot. And that could be a little dangerous because you're so worried about the takedown. And I mean, Sandhagen's legendary durable, and he had him almost out on his feet, if I remember correctly. So, yeah, just like extremely high level fight. I do think Marab should probably be fine here. And I think the only one who beats him is someone meme KOs him or Father Time eventually is undefeated. But yeah, I echo pretty much everything you said.
That is your picks and predictions for UFC 323. One final run through. We're gonna do a quick, full, zoomed out bird's eye view of the card. Let's just list out any money line locks you like. Just doing a quick run top to bottom. My money line locks, I would say I like. Feel free to use this graphic while you look with me. I would say Jan, certainly. I would say Macy, certainly. I can't say Vittori is a lock, but I really like that play. And that I think is probably the extent of locks in my opinion that are okay odds. Obviously, you're gonna say Mansoor, but any other money line lock? I would say Jalen Turner as well. That's not horrible odds. Are there any other money lines that shout out to you?
Yeah, so I agreed with like I love Jan and like you said, very good value. I love Turner. I think Vittori is a good spot, man. I really do. Like you're banking on Bruno to do something no man's ever done, and it's pick'ems, right? So I don't understand that. And then I think I think it's just a good matchup for Pantoja. I don't know if he's necessarily a lock like those guys, but like he has a good path. He's good, man. He's good, all time great. Like it's hard to fade him.
Any over or unders that scream to you? For me, I love the main event over, the co-main under. I love the over in this next one, the over in the fourth. Love the under in the Terrence McKinney fight. That's obvious. Don't hate the under in the Macy fight. I know you were saying you like the over in the Zam fight. I don't think I can get there. This one, the over-unders will be so unpredictable. Other than that, I like the under in the Aslan Beryushki fight. And that's probably the extent for me.
Yeah, so definitely if I had to pick like three main over unders, I think you do if you want to parlay piece the under in the Turner fight, but do 2.5.
Mm-hmm.
I think which like hot take, I know it's chalk. I do like the over in the Sadikov fight. I know it's a car crash type of fight, but they're both so durable, especially Sadikov. Like he would need like a head kick or something. And then lastly, the under in the Jan fight, like if you wanted to just take because Guskov's only pass in theory be like knocking him out. But I just think Jan finishes him. So you could I don't know about what the difference is in odds, but you could do Jan ITD or you could do the under to cover yourself. But yeah, no, I think we agree on pretty much almost every fight, which is not how it always is, but that's good.
Who is your dog of the week? Any money line underdog, dog of the week.
Other than
Doing a quick another scan here as well. Torres.
I think Moreno. But
Oh
like
yeah.
that's like cheap.
I'm on that.
If I had to take a dog, it would be Ebo, just because the unknowns, or maybe or Naimov. Yeah. Naimov at like two in the twos. Yeah. And I'm not even a nom, but I think Ebo, if you want to just like take a dart. I mean, Ebo is so unknown. But yeah. Naimov, you're right. In it's not crazy to think he banks the first 2 rounds with wrestling. Yeah.
Not at all. And our final top to bottom scan, and any props we love. I know we love Pantoja sub. I know we like Moreno decision.
Mm-hmm.
I know you like Jan inside the distance. I'm more of a Jan money line here, but I don't hate that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Manuel, inside the distance, you'd have to go. Chris Duncan, inside.
Duncan sub.
Duncan sub, absolutely. I couldn't take a prop here. I think it's just a money line sub. That's probably just about it.
Yes.
So what we say is, thanks for sticking around for this one. Place those bets before those lines get absolutely slaughtered.
Yep.
Uh, Goodbye and good luck.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.